I'm Anil Kumar, and here is a question for my grade 9 students. We are dealing with intercepts and slope of line. The question here is, solve half of p plus 1/4 of q equals to 1 for p. Part B is, what are the intercepts and slope of the graph? And part C is graph of the equation. So basically, we have to do three things with the given equation. As you can see, the equation is in terms of variables p and q, not in x and y, okay? So take that into account. You can pause the video, answer the question, and then look into my suggestions. Now when I'm given an equation like this, I'll prefer to answer the second part first, a part of it I should say, which says what are the intercepts and slope. So let me first find the intercepts. Reason being is that the equation is given in kind of standard form. It's very easy to find intercepts from this equation. So equation is half p plus 1/4 of q equals to 1. So we have two kinds of intercepts here. First is, let's say, p intercept, and then we have q intercept. Since our variables are p and q, we'll call them p intercept and q intercept, right? So at p intercept, q should be 0, right? So if I substitute q 0, I get half of p equals to 1 or p equals to 2. At q intercept, p has to be 0. So I substitute 0 here, so I get 0 plus 1/4 of q equals to 1, or I get q equals to 4. So I get my intercepts as p value of 2, q as 0. Here p is 0, q as 4. So that is the first part, which is kind of half of the solution of the second part, okay? Now let us isolate p. We are given the equation half p plus 1/4 of q equals to 1. So to isolate p, I'll take the other term on the right side. So we can write this as minus 1/4 of q plus 1. Now we can multiply by 2, right? So we get p equals to minus 1/4 times 2q plus 1 times 2, which is minus half of q plus 2. So that is how we can isolate p. So let me write it separately as p equals to minus half q plus 2. So this is isolating p, right, in terms of q. Now when I isolate p in terms of q, then I can treat this equation as a linear equation where q is independent variable and p is dependent variable. Right? So, and from the equation, I can also read what the slope is. If I compare this equation with y equals to mx plus b, right? So from here, I can say that the slope is, if I'm doing p as dependent on q, then the slope will be, let's say m, minus half for us, and y-intercept, in this case, it will be called the p-intercept of 2. So let us check, did we get the same answer? Yes, we did. So the p-intercept is 2 for us, right? Now let's try to do the third part, which is graph the equation. So let's say this is our coordinate. Okay, and let me mark points on this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and of course minus 1, minus 2, minus 1, minus 2. Since we know p-intercept, okay, let's Q is independent variable, so I'll take Q along the x-axis and P along the y-axis. Here I have 0. P-intercept is 2, 1, and this is 2. Q-intercept is 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. There it goes. Joining these points, I get my lines. So let me just join them approximately with this kind of a line. Do you see that? Line dropping down means a negative slope. So it is 2 and 4 or 1 and 2. So minus half is the slope for me, correct? So that is the graph for this particular equation. Now to summarize, if you have an equation in terms of different variables, you can arrange them in terms of any one of the variables. In this case, we arrange them P on the left side and Q on the right side. In that case, we will treat Q as an independent variable, P as the dependent variable, and then graph them using Q on the x-axis and P on the y-axis. You could graph using intercepts as we did. You could also graph using slope and intercept. Now we have an equation which is slope intercept form. It says 2 is your y-intercept, so which is here 2, and slope is minus half. That means minus 1 go down 2 units to the right, so you get this point. Then again you can go down 1 unit, 2 units to the right, you get the next point. Joining these points, we get our line. So you could use slope and intercept form to sketch your line, or you could use the intercepts which we calculated earlier to sketch your graph, right? I think with this all come together and you understand and appreciate how to find intercepts and the slope of a line, and to appreciate which could be independent variable and which could be dependent variable in a given situation. I hope that helps. We'll take one more example like this. I'd like you to pause the video and do that example first and then look into the solution. Thank you and all the best.